There are no companies who have contributed more to the way we consume anime today more than Crunchyroll. And in fact, they've dominated this market for a decade plus with no signs of slowing down. But look, it seems like the wheels are starting to fall off. And don't get me wrong, they're not a dead company, not yet at least, but they are a shell of what they used to be. Why is this happening? And what does this mean for you and for me? So today, let's talk about what happened and how the fall of Crunchyroll is going to shake up the way we consume anime forever. Crunchyroll's not so great reputation can technically be traced back to their roots as a pirate site, but in fact, the true omen is the fact that they have a lack of support when it comes to their own product. I mean, you should be able to make that site as perfect as possible, but Crunchyroll's app has been anything but perfect. I mean, I'm talking errors, I'm talking constant buffering, freezes. I don't even talk about the things that are lacking even when the app is actually working properly. The incompatibility between different devices that you're watching Crunchyroll on, and the fact that it's super inaccessible for a large swath of people, especially people who need closed captions. Look, people have been complaining about these issues for years, but it seems like there's been no traction on them from the side of Crunchyroll. Why do you think this is? Well, I think it just wasn't a priority. I mean, when you have a company as dominant as Crunchyroll has been from the early 2000s into the 2010s and beyond, they've never needed to really address those problems because they had the money and they had the content that no other company was able to provide. I mean, this was, pre-Netflix, pre-Amazon, pre-Hulu and Disney Plus. That's what companies do. It's about profit margins, for a lot of these major companies. However, over the past couple years, something's changed. I mean, if you've been on Crunchyroll, you'll notice the site overall is much more cleaner and sleeker. You're able to use multiple profiles now, and you can skip intros and outros. And it actually has closed captions, at least some of the time. Sometimes I don't know what's happening. But either way, you can at least watch closed captions for some anime. Now, I'm not complaining about these updates. I think they're very solid updates that we all deserve. But this brings a reasonable question I think any of us are having right now. Why now? Now, I remember when Netflix first entered the anime, I was hopeful, but extremely bullish on the idea. And that's because I want anime to not get held up in the corporate ladder, because when small niche products get gobbled up by bigger industries, it really changes and dilutes the effect that it has. Because a company's goal is to get more people into it. That's why I felt when Netflix did this that it might dilute some of the products that they do try to push out. But overall, I think Netflix has done a good job at bringing anime even further into the forefront. You can even say they created their own private little Idaho of content. And it really starts with 2018's Devilman Crybaby. If you've seen Go Nagai's excellent, dark, yet really experimental anime series, then you'll know just how insane this series is. With Crybaby, they've really done an excellent job at capturing the essence of the original anime. So look, I don't need to tell you that it's one heck of a ride to watch, but if you haven't seen it yet, then it's one heck of a ride. Netflix also continued making more acquisitions, like getting JoJo's, getting Naoki Urasawa's Monster, and Neon Genesis Evangelion, which the latter two were actually the first time that those anime series have streamed ever in the history, which is insane to think about. I just wish Netflix would have given up another arm or a leg or something to get Claire's rendition of Fly Me to the Moon. I mean, it's such a gorgeous track, and just you can't really have that song without the series. And the fact that there's a whole generation of people who are having to watch Evangelion without that track at the end is a travesty, and it honestly straddles war crimes to me, to be honest. Seriously. Anyways, I digress, because Netflix has built a very impressive library of original content, like Agretzko, Baki, Beastars, and even that other one. What's it called? The one, David, I think, is the guy. He entered that black market of tech and had all this weird tech that's just real dark and gritty. Oh yeah! Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Yeah, that. Man, it's hard to believe that anime series, as excellent as it is, comes from the same move as this. Look, I know it's a much better game nowadays. I in fact need to play it myself. But I just wanted to dunk on it one more time, alright? So just let me have this, please. Netflix has really become a true, credible power player in the anime industry. And Crunchyroll is in some serious trouble, let's be honest. Look, there are some detractors out there who might want to tell me just how dominant Crunchyroll still is, because they have the sheer number of content and the fact that they're still king of the simulcasting space. That may be true, but Netflix has been quietly and steadily increasing their simulcasting presence when it comes to big-time anime. I mean, a few years ago, we saw Zum 100 also get the treatment. We also saw last year Delicious in Dungeon not only being an exclusive to Netflix, but having the simulcasting week to week as well. And Don to Don was a huge hit last year for them too. Don't forget, even this year, they simulcasted Sakamoto Days, which they're going to air the second part of it pretty soon themselves. Netflix is really hitting Crunchyroll where they can and where it hurts the most, and that is the big titles. Don't forget, Netflix has also been adding very popular modern classics to their list as well, like JJK and My Hero Academia, which spells big trouble for Crunchyroll because, look, Crunchyroll really has an edge when it comes to sheer content, but a lot of those big titles are really what drive them, because people do love watching JJK. It's a series that captured the zeitgeist for the past few years at this point, and only being able to watch it on Crunchyroll is one of their main staying places. But if you're able to watch them now on Netflix, given the fact that Netflix has a superior interface, let's be real here. I mean, you can watch anime, you can watch movies on your phone, on your laptop, on the TV. Doesn't matter where you're at, you can watch it if you have internet. And look, it is such a game changer for Netflix to have such a reliable product, but to be able to show more popular anime, because this also adds a new dimension of people, an untapped market, you can say, of people who don't even know anime that could get into it. Look, when it comes down to Crunchyroll, they are still a niche company because they strictly show anime titles. So you're going to have plenty of anime lovers or even some anime beginners go into the app and watch it. But there are many people who don't watch anime and don't even know what Crunchyroll is. So having these anime show up on Netflix, and I have friends who watch anime on Netflix much more because they don't even know Crunchyroll, but they will watch it because they see it on their Netflix list. Look at a really big example I have is Cobra Kai. Now, I remember watching that from the beginning on YouTube Red, the YouTube Red days. Wow, that's a throwback, really. But yeah, it was such a good show. It's always been a very excellent show, but I remember loving the heck out of it from those beginning days, and people still didn't really know about it. It didn't really gain that traction until it moved over to Netflix. Once it moved there, it got even bigger, like gigantically huge. That's why it's a massively popular show. And I think that's what's going to happen with a lot of these anime titles now. Now that they're on Netflix, they are going to get that treatment where it's going to get bigger and bigger, and people that see it on Netflix are going to just continue to watch these anime on Netflix and not even think about Crunchyroll. And look, I didn't even talk about the state of our economy where things are getting more expensive. So even the most avid anime watchers who may watch anime on Crunchyroll pretty regularly, but don't really want to have to pay that extra monthly fee or yearly fee to watch it there, but does have a Netflix subscription and decides to say, all right, let's move over, let's watch our content on Netflix instead. It's really a double negative for Crunchyroll. It's really looking bad. But given the state of both companies' trajectories, I can say within the next 5 or so years, Netflix might become the top billing when it comes to anime content. And I wouldn't be surprised if revenue when it comes to anime surpasses Crunchyroll at that point too. Well, that was fast. You saw that correctly. According to aggregate data from Parrot Analytics, Netflix has amassed $2 billion in revenue from anime content, as opposed to Crunchyroll's 1.1 million, which is nearly double. And this happened 2 years ago, guys, 2 years ago. If that wasn't enough of a problem, who's already close to $1 billion themselves? And Amazon Prime, literal Amazon Prime, has $500 million. The days are long gone when Crunchyroll got top billing. And look, the suitors are well aware of this as well. Licensors like Viz are clearly trying to get the best bang for their buck. That's why they're promoting their shows on different platforms as well. And there may be some companies who are just looking to broaden their reach a bit, like Toho and Toei, who definitely are putting their One Piece and their Slam Dunk and Sailor Moon content across different platforms. That's why you can see the first Slam Dunk on Netflix, and even the Sailor Moon movies are on Netflix as well. While this report is damning, I think it's pretty obvious if you even watch a little bit of anime to know just how much the anime industry has changed when it comes to streaming. I mean, that's why places like Hulu and Disney Plus are able to have their own exclusives. You can watch Bleach, The Thousand Year Blood War, which is an excellent series that I haven't watched yet, but I know it is, only on that streaming service. You got Amazon Prime, which they've had a rocky history when it comes to anime content, let's be real, but they still continue to show very excellent titles, and not to mention a very excellent movie that came out last year that is Oscar-worthy, called Look Back, which I did talk about in the previous video. It's Tatsuki Fujimoto's one-shot manga, and it is excellent. It's a very easy hour-long movie that you should definitely watch if you haven't already. I can't stress it enough, alright? These streaming services are showing their own content, so it makes customers be able to see, hey, where are we going to watch the anime that we want? There's a lot more variety, and look, there should never be a monopolization in anything, let alone the anime industry. Things are looking bleak for Crunchyroll, but I still think they have a chance to at least salvage some of this. I think if they can get out of their own way, they might be able to get back in the game at least a little bit. Yeesh Louise! You know the saying, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade? Well, it looks like Crunchyroll is pissing all in that lemonade because they are not helping their cause. But look, the fact of the matter is there's not much they can really do about it because it seems to have stemmed from their acquisition from Sony back in 2021. So in this merger, Sony did decide to keep the Crunchyroll brand, but they did move the Funimation executives to control the Crunchyroll company. And it seems like between the employees of Crunchyroll and the executives of Funimation that things aren't really gelling at all. First, Sony's expectations seem a bit too lofty, like having 25 paying subscriptions by the end of this year. It explains why they're aggressively entering new markets like Indonesia and India, but to have the kind of hubris to believe that these people will just give over their money just because a new company comes to town showing anime feels like a lot of hubris to me. I mean, it's enough hubris to fill a hot air balloon and go across the world 20 times, which would make what, like 1,600 days around the world in 1,600 days or something? I mean, either way, they're saying Phileas Fogg, eat your heart out, all right? That's what they're saying, and it's pretty ridiculous, to be honest. Cecilia de Anastasio and Takashi Mochizuki compiled a report that chronicles the experiences of 18 current and former Crunchyroll employees. And what they concluded is that this new administration is taking the fun and the culture out of Crunchyroll, which it's not hard to see, though, too, with these allegations, like the VP of marketing having a lack of anime knowledge and fostering a boys' club work environment. There are also 3 rounds of layoffs since the merger, and they've been accused of not hiring anime fans for these new positions, which blows my mind. I mean, you're Crunchyroll, you're an anime company. How would you not hire anime fans? That's stupid to me. If this is really true, it's the dumbest thing I've heard since, I don't know, the Laurel thing. That whole Laurel thing, I don't know. It's just stupid to me. It's really stupid. Employees also feel there's no underlying philosophy when it comes to this administration, and they really feel that these executives just don't really care about anime. They even dismiss it as a kid's cartoon, which is ridiculous because you're making money off of these cartoons. Look, the new administration has not only been alienating their employees, but us as well, the customers. I mean, remember the whole shabacle, not honoring anime purchases done on Funimation for the new Crunchyroll site, which is ridiculous. I mean, if you purchase something, it's yours. But it just really goes into that whole battle when it comes to physical media versus digital media. And that's why I always believe in having physical media, especially for things that you really, really love, because it can be taken from you digitally at any time. It's like wasting money, especially if it's really important to you. I mean, if it's not important to you, it doesn't matter. But either way, you're spending money on something, you should have something to show for it. They also did remove the comments section from Crunchyroll, which is really crazy to think because it's been a long tradition and a long feature within Crunchyroll's app. And it's something that really separated them from your Netflixes and your Amazons of the world, to be able to put in comments for episodes of shows. I've done it a few times, and it was always entertaining looking at people's comments when it comes to specific episodes. Look, it's a long-time feature that I think just need to be handled a bit differently than just completely wiped out. And look, they've really screwed over the hardcore One Piece fans when they put all the episodes post Sky Island onto a premium firewall, which also is ridiculous to me because, look, Netflix has all the episodes of One Piece, but yeah, you do have to pay for it, but you're already paying for so much more and you've already been paying for Netflix in the first place. There are plenty of people who do watch Crunchyroll for free or use the free tier. And One Piece is a long series. It's an old series that's been around since the 1990s, even if it was the last year, but who cares, no one's counting. Anyways, it's been there for a long time, and I think because of that longevity, it should just be available for everybody. It's a classic series that should not be behind a paywall, and the fact that Crunchyroll is trying to monetize the little bit they have for people that really want to watch One Piece and go through the whole series, it's really, really grimy, guys. Really grimy. Oh, and I didn't even talk about the 150 anime titles that were on Funimation that have still yet to be on Crunchyroll. Here's looking at you, Lane. Look, as much as I've complained about Crunchyroll's app, the one thing I never questioned Crunchyroll was their commitment to the culture and the cause, because anime is a very niche medium, and they really had a grasp on making the anime fans get excited over watching anime just all over the world. And they really brought that funness to watching anime and just bringing anime to the worldwide level. I remember going to conventions like early on when Crunchyroll was beginning. And you would see just the look on these workers' faces who are promoting Crunchyroll. They loved to be in there. They wanted to show you how good Crunchyroll is and just wanted to bring anime out into the limelight more. And it feels like over the years, when you go to conventions now, it's just become more corporate, which is kind of ridiculous to me. I mean, I just don't really like this change in direction. And I think it does have to do with the corporatization of Crunchyroll in general. And things like the Sony acquisition is not helping their case at all. In conclusion, the Crunchyroll era may be over, but this brings a new era where you can watch anime anywhere you want to and not have to be subjected to a mediocre app that barely fixes their problems only until other companies are starting to gain traction. Thanks for watching, and if you just can't get enough of me and want to show some love and support, please like this video and subscribe. It really does help, and let's get to that first stage, 1,000 subscribers, guys. Now, if you want to see another video about potentially where Crunchyroll is going to be in the next couple of years, actually probably sooner at the rate they're going, because they're imploding fast, then you should watch this other video I did on G4. Don't forget to have a great day, a great night, a great morning, wherever it is, wherever you are, and don't forget, Kokisha no mote kudasai. Now it's time to write a eulogy for Crunchyroll. Now where is that pen?